the two abilities interact with each other, always kill demolishers first, no matter what. Fun times. Okay. So, we are going to deal with Varimathras next. This boss I'm actually looking forward to. This is the patchwork style of bosses. This is, again, a mage perspective, because mages don't really, have many mechanics to deal with. It's a very, I don't know, it's a very small, or very few mechanics on this encounter in general. What this guild is doing is similar to what my guild will be doing on Varimathras. We're going to have 2 melee camps, as well as 2 range camps shifting back and forth. The biggest thing to worry about this boss is people that are alone, right? You always want to be with your friends. If you're alone, there's a debuff. He's going to throw a little shadow of himself and damage you for a lot of shadow damage. Whenever you take shadow damage, you can't take any healing for 7 seconds. So you never want to be off by yourself, with a few exceptions. So we're going to go through those things in a second here. These guys are initially going to should hear on the pull here. They're going to stack on the right side. And again, this is not a stack. This is like a loose clump. You really, really should stack super, super tight. You don't want to have somebody off to the side here because of the first ability that's going to happen here in a second, which is the little void zones that spawn. You'll see them happening very soon here. Very soon. Little void zones, dark fissures, here it comes. All right, so as soon as you see a dark fissure, you need to shift over to the opposite side. Because when those fissures expire, they explode, you take shadow damage, not a fun time, you can't be healed. So by controlling where these spawn, it makes it a lot easier. They're going to shift from one side to the other, very similar to Antorus, right? You have to shift out or in with those, the green explosions. Same thing here. Torment of Shadows is another shadow debuff, don't worry about it too much yet. And we'll see the next abilities here coming out as they do occur. So this one again, so you can see how he runs off by himself. That other shadow version of Varimathras is doing shadow damage to him. He hits him because he is alone. Alright, so then he runs back in here. The tanks are doing their own little tank swap as well, right? You want to be doing your own tank swap. That being said, the tanks also do not want to be alone. So yes, you don't want to be in front, like you don't have 2 tanks standing next to each other in front. You might want to have one boss sort of up his butt and the other one in front of Varimathras, so they're close enough to still be linked and still be friends, and not be alone in that dark. Again, same thing here. These guys are running out. So the reason you want to run out is through this Necrotic Plague ability. You're going to see it later on. Essentially what happens is, for those of you that remember doing Lich King, Necrotic Plague, same kind of thing. You have to run out, drop it on an ad. If anything was nearby, it would then jump to that player, right? Same kind of thing here. If you have the Necrotic Plague debuff, you want to run out, let it get dropped off you. Nobody's nearby, it goes away. But, when you're by yourself, you take that extra shadow damage from the boss, blinking out and hitting you. So what's really important is make sure those players, and this is for your healers, make sure those players are topped off going into it. So here's the fissure again. And you'll see it happen a little bit later on. And hopefully some of it there. So the other ability is the sort of shadow charge that he does. Now the shadow charge will cause him to charge and knock a person back. But this can be body blocked, right? Similar to what we did on Tichondrius. So what you'll want to have is your rogues or your demon hunters block it with their body and then immediately get back into the boss, right? Shadow step back in or, fell rush back in so they are still with their friends. You don't want to have somebody run off by themselves and also get knocked back for this ability. So you can see there, that's where the arrow happens. The person gets knocked back. There, he gets knocked back. You can see the rogue, right? Or was there's the warrior there. The warrior actually got knocked back by that one. You can see the little blade spinning around him, right here. The warrior body blocked it or got hit by it, and then he charges back in because he doesn't want to get hit by that shadow ability. All right, you can see the debuffs on the top right there. Those are the misery stacks, right? Okay, here comes the Necrotic Embrace. This is the one I was talking about. It's about 4 or 5 seconds. Once you get it, make sure you run it out. But this guy's probably going to die right here because, number one, he has the shadow debuff. Right, he has the shadow debuff and cause the misery, so he's not able to get healed. But he also needs to run out. He's probably gonna get another shadow hit in a second here, and that's where he dies. Right. So again, people with that necrotic embrace, necrotic plague, whatever we want to call it, need to be topped off. They can't be healed, so 0% healing, but they can get shields. So if you have a disc priest, throw some shields on them to help them out for sure. If you ever have the necrotic, really important that you guys use a personal cooldown, right? Use your iron barks, your Divine Protections, whatever you have to survive that knock, because you take damage from the actual Necrotic Embrace ability, as well as the Shadow one where you're alone in the dark. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the abilities here. So we're going to go through them as they happen. He's casting away here. Like, there's just not a lot. It's a fairly quick encounter. It is the patchwork of bosses. Here comes Dark Fissure. Hey, it only spawned on ranged. Great, right? So everybody moves over. The other thing to be aware of is he has multiple auras that occur throughout the entire phase. The first one is a fire aura, does fire damage on you. 2 minutes later, he goes into a frost aura. The frost aura then slows your players, so when your players are slowed, it's a lot more difficult to run out of those fissures. That's where you should be using your stampedes, your speed boosts, your windwalks, whatever you have. And where, of course, windwalker monks would be nice, right? So here comes the Dark Fissure again. And they run out of it. Perfect. If only all of them had boss mods here to show. There's the knockback mechanic, the Shadowy Strike. So somebody's going to body block it. I think it was the... oh, here you go. This guy's affected with Necrotic Embrace. He runs off, then blinks back in. He did get hit, right? So he did take shadow damage. So you can see here, this deadly llama guy, whatever his name is, does have the misery debuff. He can't be healed. For players that can't be healed, obviously SLT will save them, right? It'll balance up the HP, but it will not, top them back up. Once the debuff expires, make sure you heal that player up. Again, if you're a healer, you're using your Holy Shocks, your Light of the Martyrs, whatever instant heals, you can't top them off prior to the hit. Here comes Dark Fissures, and see how slow they are, right? This is the Frost Aura in effect right now. Or the Frost Aura slows your players down and much more difficult to move. This guy's gonna get knocked back. There, and somebody blocked it. Perfect. And this guy at the same time runs out with Necrotic Plague. So, biggest thing for DPS, do not tunnel vision into what is going on, right, into DPSing the boss, right? Make sure you're dealing with those mechanics. You're running out for the fissures, right, the big circles, move, move, move. If you have Necrotic, you are running it out. Otherwise, if you have the charge on you, not a big deal, because the melee player assigned to it, whether it's a warrior, a rogue, or a demon hunter, will always body block it for you. So here's Marked Prey. He's not moving, because you can see that guy right there. He should be body blocking him right there, right behind the boss. And of course, the plague person runs up to the left there. But you can see here it spreads. So if the person doesn't run out, it spreads, and that's exactly what happened here. The person didn't run far enough. Let's go back a couple seconds. The Shadow Priest was really slow. Again, this is during Frost Aura though, right? So you really, really need to move during the Necrotic. No matter what, use your speed boost to get the hell out. So you can see here he was too close. Everyone has Necrotic Embrace. Now it's going to spread like a virus and start murdering everybody, because now they're taking shadow damage and now they can't get healed and everybody's panicking. They get hit by the Alone in the Dark ability. Here comes the ability again. You can see the entire raid now is affected by Necrotic Embrace. There is no coming back from this. They are absolutely screwed. So it's not as binary of a check as Maiden was, but it is going to murder you pretty quickly if that one person does not run out with Necrotic. Your raid leaders, I'm sure, will be yelling, get out, get out, get out the Necrotic. That's what's going to happen here, and here they're going to wipe, right? It just keeps ticking over and over and over because it's spread through the entire raid. Realistically, was there any way to come back from that? I can't think of one, because they would have had to all spread. They're all going to get hit by the shadow debuff, so they can't get healed. And Varimathras is going to start picking them off one at a time with his Shadow Step ability. But that's the fight in a nutshell. Simple, quick, boring, fun encounter. My style. I do like these kind of bosses. Just because, they teach a little bit of raid awareness, but they're, of course, DPS love these ones. They're huge fans of these abilities. So that is fantastic. Let's move on to the next boss here. So let's go actually through the last one we're going to go over tonight, which is Coven of Shivara. I do want to preface this. For those of you that haven't seen Zorania's notes, Zorania's done really easy, quick notes for the community. I did go over these a couple days ago, just in terms of cleaning them up a little bit. But for those of you that haven't seen them, feel free to share them. He's done a great job. Give him a follow on Twitch, and thank him for his awesome job there. A quick, great little overview as to, as to sort of what's happening on the different bosses. You pull it up here, really simple. Click on the boss that you want to work on or take a look at, Varimathras. Right, you're going to click on it. The file is clearly very popular. and it'll tell you, what the different things are: unavoidable damage to the raid, misery, what happens glow in the dark anytime you're alone, the shadow strike for the tanks, and you can see here exactly what the abilities look like. Right here, that dark fissure spawns circles into 3 players, move out before it takes, or it takes shadow damage. Right, simply move out. Marked Prey was the sort of the charge ability that we talked about with the arrow. Necrotic Embrace, same kind of thing. Ryan's done an amazing job with these. Please share it. He's given it to the community. Really well done by him. So let's go over Coven of Shivara. So this is one of the more complicated encounters in